Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. I know me and my girlfriend actually went out to a water park, checked out the wave pool, water slides. It was a ton of fun. I'm super sunburned. But yeah, I hope you had a great couple days. In this one, I wanted to really focus here on the expectations for Robert Saleh going into year 2 as head coach of the New York Jets, okay? Because yes, year 1, it wasn't the best season, but at the same time, Saleh did have a lot of things working against him his first season in New York, okay? And I know it might sound like a laundry list of excuses, but at the end of the day, they are facts, okay? Saleh was rolling with a really young football team, starting rookies on both sides of the football, in some cases late round draft picks. Speaking of starting young players, Zach Wilson, rookie quarterback, second overall pick. How many teams out there light the league on fire with a rookie quarterback, okay? Especially a rookie quarterback that doesn't really have the best supporting cast around him, okay? So it's not, built so much for the short term, if that makes sense. It was more so a long-term type of play. So he was rolling with a really young team, started a rookie quarterback, first year in a transition, of a defensive transition, going from a 3-4 to a 4-3. I know on paper it might sound like, a simple task, but, if we think back to Greg Williams in the Adam Gase era, he opted to stick with the 3-4 defense that was already in place despite being a 4-3 guy the last handful of seasons. The reason he did that was because the roster overhaul was too big of a challenge in one off season. Okay, so he stuck with the 3-4, had some pretty solid success, but Saleh comes in the building with, his specific scheme, the cover 4, cover 3, lot of zone, 4 down linemen, that there is going to be a transition period. It's not like we can just wipe the map clean with all of our defensive players and then just insert, 11 solid starters. It just, as much as I would love that to happen, it's just not the case. Okay, so, young players, starting a rookie quarterback, first year of the transition, going from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and on top of that, the Jets dealt with so many different injuries, okay? It was mind-blowing. Carl Lawson, Mekhi Becton, LaMarcus Joyner, Marcus May, Sherwood, Najee Dean, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Zach Wilson even missed some time, Vinny Curry out for the year. The list goes on. The amount of injuries that this Jets team sustained last year was unreal. It was unbelievable. I still remember the day Carl Lawson went down in training camp. Like, I didn't even know what to do with myself after that news. Like, everything was trending upwards with Lawson. Everybody was super excited. He was doing awesome things, not only just against the Jets, but in that Packers joint practice. Like, the injuries were crazy. It was absolutely nuts. So the bottom line is this: Robert Saleh did have a lot of things working against him his first season. But with that said, there are 3 major areas that I want to see cleaned up going into next season, and all 3 are realistic. Okay, the first, defense. Defensive performance, defensive production, however you want to word it, the defense has got to get better. Okay, the worst defense in football last year, that has got to change. But I do feel like it will change, okay? Again, referencing the first couple of points here, tons of injuries, super young team. Okay, first year again of the transition for the guys currently on the roster. There was a lot there. That's not a normal situation for a normal team every year, okay? There was a lot happening. So with the new faces coming in free agency, such as Jordan Whitehead at safety, DJ Reed at corner, with the new additions through the draft, Sauce Gardner, Michael Clemens, Jermaine Johnson, okay, the injured players coming back, guys like Carl Lawson, okay, he's going to make a huge difference, and Vinny Curry, adding depth, Jacob Martin, Solomon Thomas, 2 guys that I feel like will get some playing time this upcoming season. I think, and by the way, CJ Mosley coming off the best season of his career, as crazy as that sounds, re-signing LaMarcus Joyner. The Jets have added talent. We have addressed positions of need. We have added depth to this team. So in the case that somebody does go down, we have somebody solid to step in it and fill those shoes, okay? I really like the direction of this defense. I assume the defense will look a lot better. It's hard to get worse than the 32nd worst defense in football. I get that. And really my goal, it's, of course, I would love to see this Jets defense as a top 5, a top 8 unit. My goal for this defense is top 15. If we could get in that area, I think this team can win a lot of football games. I truly believe that. But realistically, I think if the Jets could finish, 20th, 21st, 22nd, somewhere in that range, I'll be happy. Okay, it's 1 year removed from being the worst defense in football. I get that you have all these acquisitions, but to jump 10 spots, I think that is doable. I think it's doable, and also I think it will help the offense out tremendously. So the second area for me is game planning, right? I felt like too many times last year the Jets were behind the 8 ball to start off. That the home opener, week 2 against the Patriots, after the first quarter, it just felt like it was over. Week 3 against the Denver Broncos in Denver, where the Jets, they didn't even score a point, that felt over in the first half. Having that bye week to prepare for a team that we already played in the Patriots, we already got humiliated by New England early on, and then to come out and lose 54, I believe the final score was 54-13. And Brian Hoyer is still trying to sling TDs like late in the game. Like, that is just unacceptable. The Colts game, Thursday Night Football, I was amped for that game. Johnson was starting at quarterback, and it was just blown out immediately. The Jets did fight their way back in that game a little bit. Johnson was putting the ball in play, got in the end zone a couple times late. Really awesome to see there. But I felt like the game planning aspect was just, it was hit or miss, but most of the time it was just a miss last season. I felt like we either had it or we didn't, and I just want to see that area cleaned up a little bit. And I'm not pinning that completely on Saleh. Maybe it's guys missing assignments, maybe it's Mike LaFleur, maybe it's play calls. A lot goes into it. Obviously, it's not just because of the head, it's not just the head coach's call here, but as the face of the football team, I think the game planning from week to week needs to be cleaned up. Nobody likes to feel like the game is over. The game is out of reach at the end of 1, at the end of 2, right? Going into halftime, it's like, well, the Jets have to have, some Herculean effort to manage to come back to be in this game. Nobody wants to be in that spot. Of course, it's a long season. There's going to be some down games, down weeks. I get it completely, but not as much as last season. Okay, so for me, the defense was first. Game planning for me is second. So the third point for me is really just consistency. I want to see this Jets team look like the same team week in, week out, right? Week after week after week. I want us to have an identity. I want us to play aggressive, right? Let's hang in games. Let's compete. If things aren't going well, let's adjust. This kind of ties into the first point with game planning, a second ago here, but I felt like too many times last year, the Jets would either start off really, really poorly and then start to pick it up at the end, but it was just too little too late, or vice versa. The Jets would look, flat out awesome to start, and then the wheels would just come off. Philadelphia specifically, back half of the year. But, this Jets team, man, they have so much potential. They have so much young talent. I want to be aggressive. I want this Jets team to protect their home turf. I don't care who we're playing. A great team, a bad team, cold weather, hot weather, home, away. I want us to look like the same squad week after week. And I think it's important for, the mental side of things as well, specifically for the young players, because nobody likes to go out and, dominate one week and then go out the next week and get blown out and then look really, really solid week 3 and then just it all kind of go away week 4. Like, that inconsistency, one specific season I felt like was just really inconsistent was Geno Smith's rookie year, back with Rex Ryan, 2013, I believe, where it was win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. I felt like every week it was just back to back, and it was brutal, right? We just couldn't really string along those W's. And I'm not necessarily saying every week has to be a win. Of course, I would love it, but I think the game that we could point to here is the Bucs game, right? Back half, a couple weeks before the season ended, the Jets looked really good. We competed all the way through. Tom Brady, of course, walked it off in the end, but that was the Super Bowl champions the season prior. Okay, it was a this is a stacked team. And I get that they were in MetLife, and I get that it was in the back, portion of the year, and the Bucs were dealing with a bunch of injuries. But man, if the Jets could look like that, if they could fight like that every week next year, I'm going to be totally pleased fan. So I think all three of those points are obtainable. I don't think any of them are out of reach by any means. I think this team has the talent to do it. They have the experience, a full season under their belt. They have more guys that fit the system, fit what they want to do, both on offense and defense here. And I can't wait. I cannot wait for the season to start. I think it's going to be a fun year. I really, really do believe that. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your expectations for Robert Saleh heading into his second year? It should be awesome to jump down in the comments and just, check out everybody's points. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.